flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Sewell. Buns.
Present.
Wyatt.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Reister excused, absent.
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Committee reports. Chrissy, can you do the Public Works
Yep.
Committee meeting?
I sure can. So the Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, September 13th. The first item that was discussed was the special election results. It was the day after, so they just ran, I think George ran through the unofficial results. Jake gave an update to the committee about the Public Works building progress. He's working with the architect to get approximate costs for different materials for the building to help cut the price down as far as we can without eliminating a huge amount of things. We discussed having a generator installed at City Hall in the event of a power outage again. Jake had reached out to a few different vendors and was not able to obtain costs, so we'll put that on a future meeting. The garbage contract was discussed. I had sent Blackhawk Waste an email about issues that we as city staff and residents have been having since the routes were changed and went to an automated system. We found out that the northern tier is on what they are calling a rural route. We had no idea that they were even doing rural routes. So I had reached out to Blackhawk Waste to get their rural route policy explanation in writing and then bring to you guys for consideration, because the issue is that a rural route wasn't approved by you guys by city council when it went into effect. So once that comes back to me and I'm okay with it, then I'll bring it to you guys here. Then we opened sealed bids for the snow blower that the Public Works Department was selling. We received 2 bids, and the winning bid was $655, and that is on tonight's agenda. And then Butterfield needs to be reconstructed at the intersection between the interchange and Ranchero. The concrete is failing, so since the DOT is doing the Highway 20 and 58 interchange, we're going to try to piggyback onto that project. We're going to, Jake got cost estimates of $162,000, but we do have the ability to get some sort of grant, so we're working through that as well. So once we get a final cost estimate and final plans, then we will bring that back to Public Works as well as here for any other approval that is needed. Public Works put out bids for the sander. We haven't received anything. We reposted it, still haven't gotten anything, so we'll decide what we're going to do with that. Ferguson Water Works gave Public Works, actually gave Water and Sewer project cost to replace the MIUs or the outdoor units that are left over. Give us a cost estimate to replace them, and there's 921 of them that need to be replaced, and the cost of that project is $170,385. That is on tonight's agenda, and we also can use the COVID relief funds for that because that is a proper use of those funds. And then the sewer adjustments that were on the consent agenda were also the final thing that we talked about. So, and then we adjourned at 7:46.
Thanks, Chrissy. Any
Yep.
questions for Chrissy?
Does that, the rural route for the garbage?
Yeah.
does that negate the signing of the contract because it changes the terms, or is it just an adjustment that we'll have to make to it? Or do we not know that yet?
I don't know that yet.
Okay.
I would think it's a minor, my guess is it's probably not grounds for us to be able to cancel the contract because it'd be a minor portion as far as number of houses. But that's just a guess as opposed to a legal opinion. I think from the standpoint, if Chrissy and Katie can work out a resolution that works for them and works for the residents, we just get that agreed to in writing, and so that Black Hawk can't change the process again without consideration.
So how does that impact those of us that live out here in Wilmington?
So you guys are supposed to be picked up on the same day, same time. The only difference is what we were told is that you're not being picked up by the new automated truck. You're picked up as the old way, where they're just picking the bins up and putting the trash in by hand. So.
The day changed here,
What was that?
that's why the day changed
So,
for us?
yeah, so that's also what we had found out is that you're being picked up on different days, where the contract says that everyone within the city limits of Hudson are supposed to be picked up on the exact same days with the exact same truck, and that's not happening. So that's why we are asking Black Hawk Waste to put something in writing so that we all know what's going on.
Right, because there's enough confusion as it is with everybody having to change. I'm
Correct.
sure you guys are just getting
Yeah,
over.
we haven't gotten a lot of calls lately.
I think now that it got through that full adjusted 2-week cycle, because that was confusing.
Yeah.
That was
too,
horrible, but-
moved.
Yeah.
I still think.
Everybody kind of watches now, and I
They
see the
do.
stuff coming out at the right time.
But I see some that are off still a week or
Yes.
so. And I thought about through the chamber, the Hudson Happenings page, just on the nights before saying, hey, it's recycling night tonight, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
recycling tomorrow night.
Or maybe
So-
repost that color calendar so
Well-
they look at it each time.
Yeah, I mean, cause I had to put a reminder on my own calendar to pop up to say, put your recycling out, because it's been so many it's been so many years the same way that to change is just different.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And the concerns that were expressed by people, was that all having to do with the days changing? Or was it-
Yeah, for the most part, it's been the days, or doing the every other week with the recycling and the yard waste.
Because even with them not using the automated truck, Black Hawk Waste is still okay with the stuff being put into those new containers, so you won't have your raccoons hitting it. They will just go through the extra effort of having to dump that contents into their truck. As
They
I
are
understand it, right?
But they are using the automated in town.
Yes.
Yes.
The other clarification I would like to get for verbiage is the yard waste pickup. Because I thought we had said that it had to be in like the paper bags or something. Is that not the case? Maybe I just assumed that incorrectly.
No, so it can be in the paper bags.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, it can be in you can use your old garbage container.
And then they can dump from there.
Yep. Just as long as it is used just exclusively, you're not using the new bins, and it's used just exclusively for your yard waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people doing that and I was, huh? Sorry, Lori.
I mean, when that lawn waste collection is, I mean, it's the week's opposite of recycling pickup?
No, it's the same.
Oh, it's the same?
It's the same.
Okay.
Yep.
But it's on Friday instead of Wednesday.
Yeah. Yep. Yard waste is still picked up on Friday, or every other Friday.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you have 3 days in a row or one day.
So
Right.
did Black Hawk say anything about placement of the garbage cans? Are they okay with some of them in the yards and some of them on the curb? Is there any issues with that?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
Yet.
Maybe ask that question to Black Hawk, if they're fine with some of those sitting in the parking and some of them on the street.
Yeah, the only one that I know of that have had issues is the Wagon Wheel Apartments.
Okay.
they don't have a big enough space to get it far enough away, so they're
Cause it has to
trying.
be 5 feet away.
Yeah, so they're trying to just work something, try to figure out how
Even if
to,
they've got dumpsters.
Has to be 5 feet away from what, the curb?
like, from any structure,
Oh,
so
from
that
structure.
it doesn't hit.
Well, yeah, cause the other thing I've seen is cars parked on the street and then putting their garbage can right behind that car.
Yeah,
They
it
can't
doesn't,
get the truck
yeah, it
in.
doesn't have,
So that's an education piece on
Mhm.
our end to give to the residents, because I know Waterloo used to have that problem too, saying, you have to put it here, not here.
yeah, and I
Otherwise
think
they
we,
can't
I
get
think
it.
we did that when this last mailing that we did was
Okay.
just make sure that it's away from anything.
Right, and again, if we can get it, the more we can get out, if you just
Mhm.
copy and paste it into social media too, I think people see it both ways, it helps. But yeah, I might start doing that, just
Okay.
reminder tomorrow.
It's kind of,
As long as
tight
we're on the
by
topic
the
of
school.
placement, I have to say that I have a concern out here on Butterfield with people that live on hills and put it on the road rather than their driveway, and I'm not sure whether that's because their driveways are somewhat narrow, I don't know what the reasoning is. But, the problem is, then you have to go kinda swing out wide on that hill, not knowing what's coming up the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's anything that can be addressed in some way or not.
Well, the positive thing about that is theoretically it should slow down the traffic. Said that tongue in cheek, totally.
I'm going on the wrong side of the hill in
Yeah.
stormy weather, so I'm a little overly sensitive about that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anyway,
Nope, I hear you too, that would be.
Well, it'll be interesting too on, once we have the first snowfall,
Yeah.
on where it looks
Right.
everywhere.
Yep,
Okay. Any other questions?
no, thanks for all that feedback,
Yeah.
follow-up.
You're welcome.
General government, item A, discussion action to approve resolution 2831, a resolution accepting the highest bid for the snow blower, which was to Joe McDivitt in the amount of $655.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll
Whoever you
call.
wanna,
just
Yeah.
seeing what's behind the decision or the recommendation to go with the highest bid rather than the lowest bid.
Highest bids because we're selling it, not buying it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for giving me that easy question. Roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sewell,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item B, discussion action to approve resolution 2832, resolution for approval of the bid for R900 changeouts for the city of Hudson. And that's where a lot of detail was in the public works, and again, it's $170,385, and it will be able to be used from the COVID relief funds that have to be only used for water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, other such items. And this is something, these were first put in place, most of them 15 years ago.
Yeah, 10 to 15 years ago.
So they're about due for a change out, and if it all fails, we would have a problem. So, motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lawson,
Aye.
Sewell,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2833, a resolution setting a public hearing regarding the approval of the preliminary plat revision to lot number 3 LLC site development, and that's a Tony's Plumbing lot, and this setting the public hearing for October 12.
so moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sewell,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item D, discussion action to approve resolution 2834, resolution setting public hearing regarding the approval of the subdivision plat to home survey. That again, public hearing for October 12th for about 158 by 1 foot of ground.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Sewell.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2835, a resolution approving the engagement letter for Ehlers Cooney attorneys regarding the franchise ordinance, and this is for them to draft up with Mid-America so the city can have a franchise agreement for electricity that takes effect after the switchover from HMEU. And the reason we're having Ehlers Cooney do it is because Heather's not had any real experience in these, and Ehlers has, so we're rolling that way. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion?
Is there any, is this the only attorney that does this?
No, they're not the only ones, but he's the one that's been hired by HMEU for this last year and a half.
That's what I wondered if he was
Yep,
too.
yeah.
I mean, I know we're like one of the pioneers in the state for doing this, so I didn't know that. I assume there weren't very many attorneys out there with experience to do
Right.
this, so.
Roll call?
Lawson,
Aye.
Sewell,
I,
Wyatt,
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Number of informational items in the packet, reminder items, Public Works Committee, October 13th, 7 a.m., Mayor's Task Force, October 19th, possibly 5 p.m. Personnel Admin Finance Committee, October 25th, 4:45, Public Safety, October 28th, 4 p.m.
It will be an earlier one
It
of
will be
those
an
two.
earlier one. We'll get those out when we get the date and time. Council meetings Tuesday, October 12th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Council meeting Monday, October 25th, 6 p.m. I want to remind everybody too that part of the consent agenda was setting trick or treating for October 31st from 5 to 7 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have a motion to adjourn since Matt's not here?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
see ya.